Oftentimes, buyers and home sellers are confused over closing costs and who pays what in a real estate transaction. Real estate expert Linda Kraft is here to clear some of the confusion and give you tips on how to reduce your home buying and selling costs. This is such an important topic, Linda. Why is it all so confusing?
You know, because there's so many variables, there's so many people involved, and there's so much that's negotiable that you're constantly going, well, it could cost this, but then there's a way for it to cost less. And so there's just, anytime you're buying something, whether it's a new car or, you know, a hotel room, there's always additional costs, but you are the person that pays them. When you're buying and selling a home, you've got the bank, the buyer, the seller. It's the transaction that pays it, and it gets so confusing for so many people.
Okay, so for the buyer, there's no cost for the exclusive buyer agent, but there are some costs accompanied with the actual purchase.
Absolutely. So yeah, the good news is you can have exclusive buyer representation. It's completely free to you. But you may have to have a down payment. Again, it depends on, are you a first-time home buyer using 0% down? Are you going to have 3%, 5%, or 25% because you're an investor? So there's all of those variables. And you may also have some closing costs for originating that new mortgage, and yet there's a lot of different ways to slice that up as well.
Is there a way to buy a home without having to come up with cash at the point of purchase?
You know, there really is.
Oh,
I mean, we
okay.
we can literally get someone into a new home for about $1,000. The cost that you would have on a security deposit on something you were renting, we could actually put you into home ownership. And the way that we do that is we negotiate with the seller to pay some of the closing cost, or we use one of our lenders that offer no-cost mortgages where it's all built in. But you would really, if you want to go that route, it's really important to look at the budget and the final amount of that house payment and make sure that it's all going to work. But yeah, you can literally get into a home with no money down.
Wow. What about things like the home inspection and insurance fees?
And all of those are costs that you would have typically when you're buying, but those two can be either rolled into the mortgage or they can be negotiated and paid for by the seller in the transaction.
Gotcha. There are a lot of legal fees, aren't there?
Well, and fortunately, North Carolina is not as bad as some states.
Okay.
But we do have attorney's fees and title insurance and recording fees and those kind of things. Those costs can actually be rolled into the transaction as well.
Okay. What is the new mortgage or origination? I always see that fee.
Yeah, that's the money that the mortgage company, well, some of the money that the mortgage company makes for loaning money. I mean, they're in the business, they have to make money as well. And again, there's all kinds of ways to get around those fees. We either raise the rate a tiny bit so you don't have to pay origination, or negotiate to get the origination paid again by the seller in the transaction. Gotcha.
Okay. There are lots of ways that you can get around being surprised, including getting the good faith estimate.
Very important. So if you were buying a home today, we would suggest that you talk to a couple lenders and compare their rates, compare their charges, because they may be a little bit different. And there is a form called the good faith estimate, and that's what you want to get from your lender because that allows you to see the total cost for the transaction so that you don't have any surprises.
And as far as the person selling the home is concerned, what types of fees are they looking at?
Well, certainly a consultation is very important in selling a home because there's going to be the real estate commission, and most people are very confused about that commission. If I was sitting down with you to sell your home, you would see that number, which is negotiable, and you'd think, gosh, Linda Kraft is making a lot of money. And the commission is actually like a nice pie that gets cut, first of all, in half with the listing company and the buyer agent company. Then it gets cut in half again with the buyer agent and the listing agent. And if there's a referral company involved, it could be cut again and again.
Wow, this is a lot of great information, and you've written about it in your blog. So thank you so much, Linda.
My pleasure.
If you are planning to buy or sell a home, call our real estate expert, Linda Kraft, for a free consultation to help you understand all the ways to reduce your cost at 919-235-0007 or visit lindakraft.com.